The podcast you are about to listen to is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths, in particular Sally Hardesty and her super annoying brother Franklin, who were all very happy he is dead.
Oh no, it's a chainsaw! Run away!
This week we watch 1974's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and chainsaw is 2 words. Yes!
I told you to stay away from that graveyard!
Well, that was a mess.
That's horrible.
It's Sellout October, bitches.
Stabby Stabby.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Stabby Stabby. We're a podcast that watches old, obscure, hard-to-find thriller, exploitation, and horror movies. Although it is the wonderful spooky month of October, which is an annual tradition around these parts. And Stabby Stabby, we like to call Sellout October because it's the month where we sell out. We watch horror movies that other people have actually heard of and just celebrate mainstream horror because it's pretty good. Hey guys, mainstream horror is pretty good though. It's pretty good.
Yeah, some of it's solid.
My name's Dan, and I'll be one of your hosts today. And today I'm drinking it's a mason jar of red wine. I don't know what style of wine it is, other than its shade, and it did come from a box, which actually every box is disguising a bladder. So I'm drinking some red bladder wine right now. Let me just have a sip. Ooh, that's gonna stain my lips. Was that an Eric?
Yeah. Did you find it like on your back porch? Was it just laying there?
I'm not going to disclose how I earned this box of wine, but you know, I let's say I earned it really hard.
All right. Hey, I'm Eric. I'm one of your hosts. I'm just drinking a Coca-Cola today. I'm having some sugar and some caffeine, trying to get all jazzed up for some chainsaw talk. Yeah, I'm excited. Greg, what's going on with you?
I mean, not much, Eric. I'm just here for the podcast.
Okay.
I'm drinking a Rebel Hill Brewing Bleed Green IPA, as always. Just picked up a new 4-pack.
House beer.
It is still so good. So Sellout October, week 3, baby.
Yeah, actually, I like Eric's idea. Instead of talking about this movie, can we talk about just chainsaws? Could this be chainsaw talk? Guys,
Sure.
Let's talk about how to keep those teeth sharp.
It's tough.
Yeah.
To keep chainsaw teeth sharp.
It is. What I like to do, I try to
go ahead.
chainsaw a wet rock at an angle. And the doctor told me to stop, but I think it works. I think it keeps things tidy. Yeah.
Chainsaw doctor?
No, my medical doctor. The rock tends to break up, and it doesn't go. It's like chainsawing a frag grenade. Let's just be honest. But I don't know. It works for me.
Interesting. I like the idea of Dr. Chainsaw.
All right, open your mouth and say "ah."
I wonder, like, listen, I've never used a chainsaw. I don't trust myself with most sharp tools, but how precise can you get with a chainsaw? I guess there is like wood carvers that use chainsaws and stuff. So
yeah, dude,
it can get really precise. So let's do surgery with one.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
Sure.
I'm willing to wager all of my money, which isn't a lot. I'm willing to wager all of it, though, that there is indeed a chainsaw that surgeons use. Like a tiny little chainsaw that uses the same principles. That has to be true.
Yeah, like a mini saw. Cut open like some sternums or something.
A baby chainsaw,
yeah,
which you use on babies.
It has to mean that at some point or another, a surgeon has turned to a nurse and been like, hand me the chainsaw. And then like smiled, and the nurse is like, oh, you, and handed him a little baby chainsaw.
Well, you know what? Let's just do this at the top of the show. Listeners, if you could go onto your podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and let us know if you would let us operate on you with a baby chainsaw.
Yeah. Baby Chainsaw Incorporated is the name of our surgery store. I don't know, a hospital. It's called a hospital.
We're real good with company names.
Yeah. All right, so what brought Texas Chainsaw Massacre to the table? Do we remember whose idea this was? Was this like a...
This one is yours.
This is a mine? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, well, I'm proud of that. I remember talking about which ones we wanted to do for Sellout October, but this movie's always on my mind. This movie has like a permanent room, like way in the back down a dark hallway with a lot of paintings of clowns on the way to the door to keep you away. I love this movie. It was a good one.
Did I ever tell you about my college chainsaw story?
No?
Yeah, my school did like the bottom floor. We did a like a walkthrough Halloween thing. So each room was like a different scenario. And I got my dad's chainsaw and took the chain off. And I was starting to chainsaw like at the very end as people walk through and just scaring the shit out of them before they like walk to the door. But because it was inside, the fumes started getting really bad from the gas, and they kicked me out. They were like, "Oh, this is a safety issue." And but I was all like, I had like an outfit and I had a full thing of gas, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So I just went and hid in a bush. So as people came out and they were just like, that wasn't scary, or they were just joking around, as they're walking to their cars, I would start to chainsaw them and scare the shit out of them. Every single person, and all the dudes got so mad. They all jumped, and it sucked because I was just basically out there by myself the whole time. But it was so much fun because I scared probably like 100 fucking people that night. It was really fun.
Nice.
A little sadistic, but
No, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Eric went to school right as the chainsaw was invented, so it was extra scary because the people weren't used to seeing it. So.
I wasn't like actively chasing them. I just would start it, so it was real loud, you know.
So they were like, "What is this magical contraption?"
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, it was just it was more the noise, I think, that they jumped from.
No, we get it. We're just saying you're very old.
Oh yeah,
We're pulling that joke back.
Oh yeah. Well, I scared all the horses away.
Well, I like that. That's good. I like hearing about Texas Chainsaw College Massacre, but what do you guys say we talk about the plot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Ooh,
Yeah.
stab me. Stab me good.
Yeah. I want to cut you up like you're in a wheelchair.
Oh, please.
Now let's get to the plot.
So, 1974's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper, opens on a text scroll telling us that the movie we're about to see is based on a true story. We then learn that it's August 18th, 1973, and we hear the digging of dirt. Oh, also, the narrator for the text scroll, I think everybody knows this at this point, but it's John Larroquette, made famous on Night Court.
Yeah.
And I believe he got paid in joints.
Nice.
So-
I didn't know that.
It's pretty cool.
That's rad.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, just if anybody listening is working on a student film and wants to pay somebody in weed to do voiceover, hit me up. Hit me up. Direct message our Instagram. Greg will get in touch with me.
Yeah, Dan will do anything for weed.
Yeah, no, literally. Eddie, what do I say about how I got this wine? You have no idea.
Now we get some photos of decomposed bodies, and we get a nice dead body art installation in a cemetery. It's very well positioned. I like it. I would like
beautiful.
that in my bedroom.
Yeah, me too.
We also hear a news report about grave digging and stolen corpses at the cemetery.
It's a neat
then get
setup.
our-
I like the intro text crawl. I always forget that that's there. I've probably seen this movie like 8 times. And every time I watch it, I forget that they position it as being based on a true story at the start. Which I know, like the Coen brothers did that too, right? Where it's horseshit that it's based on anything, but they just do that because they want you to think of it as real.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
they
like
did
that.
it with Fargo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. More filmmakers.
Yeah, it's
should
awesome.
I want like Marvel to kick off the next like Avengers movie with this is based on a true story. And, like it'll actually have
aliens
stakes
and
for once.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to the I watched the commentary version of this. So Tobe Hooper, the director, writer, and Gunnar Hansen, the Leatherface, and Daniel Pearl, the cinematographer, were all together and highly entertaining. And they have a really good rapport, the three of them. But what I thought was interesting was that people would come up to them, especially Gunnar, and tell them that they knew the guy that inspired Leatherface, like from Texas. They're like, "Oh yeah, my cousin grew up with him," and they're like trying to convince him, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we just made it up. So whatever you think you know, it's not accurate."
Dude.
So Tobe Hooper was like, "Yeah, I used to hang out with like my relatives from Wisconsin, and they would tell Ed Gein stories about." He was like, "I didn't even know who Ed Gein was. They would just tell a crazy story about like a dude who would make human lampshades from skin." And he was like, I didn't really even know Ed Gein until like 3 years after this film became popular, his own film. He was like, I just wanted to make a family of weirdos, like based off of that story that my relatives used to tell me.
That's amazing.
So,
man.
It's kind of a cool little circle, though. People are like telling him that they know they believe it's real. So, yeah.
You've won when you set out to tell a story about like the rotten core of forgotten America. When after you make that movie, people are like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. Yeah, he's
Right.
real. Yeah, no, you were joking, but that guy's real. Yeah,
Yeah, he lives down the street from me. He's always carving people alive.
Yeah, the difference is your guy only had one Leatherface. My guy is like 12. He cycles through them.
Oh, I went to school with that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was carrying around a chainsaw at one of the Halloween events.
Oh, little Larry Leatherface is what we called him.
Yeah, in gym class, we'd all take showers and he'd hang his face up before he took a shower. Weird.
Squeal like a pig when we snapped him with a towel.
All right, so now we get our opening credits, and we move to the story of 5 young hippies in their van: Sally, Franklin, Jerry, Kirk, and Pam. Franklin is handicapped.
Nothing bad will ever happen to them.
Nope, they're all going to be fine.
Yep.
Franklin is handicapped and in a wheelchair. We see that he falls down a hill while trying to pee on the side of the road. I found that kind of funny.
It's objectively funny.
They then stop at the cemetery to visit Sally's family's graves. We have a drunk man. He rambles about seeing things happen in the cemetery. But luckily, her family graves are not dug up, and they are all intact.
Things happen hereabout they don't tell about. I see things. You see, they say it's just an old man talking. You laugh at an old man. There's them that laughs and knows better.
That shot of the drunk guy in the cemetery when he's like laying upside down, passed out drunk. That's always, that's when you know you're in for a treat. I feel like a little moment like that. Oof. He feels like, he feels legit, like taken right off the street. He's great.
Probably paid him in booze.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think every movie should have a drunk old guy. That just like, even like rom-coms, they should just have a drunk old guy be like, oh, marriage is hard.
You want the gas station attendant oracle in every movie. That's just a constant trope.
The harbinger of doom.
Yeah.
Don't get married!
Some kind of like you guys see The Bear on Hulu, the TV show about there's just one scene in that show where he goes to the gas station to get some ingredient for whatever reason, and the guy behind the counter is like, you don't want to make Alfredo or whatever. White sauce of the devil.
I don't remember that scene, but yes.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it would improve it. Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. All right, so now we get back on the road. They're smelling the stink of the slaughterhouse, and Franklin tells the group about how the cows used to be killed by bashing them on the head with a sledgehammer, but now they've moved on to using basically an air gun, which shoots a like metal cylinder into the head and just kills them instantly, or it's supposed to kill them instantly.
That's horrible. People shouldn't kill animals for food.
Well, they don't do it like that anymore. Now they got this big air gun that shoots a bolt into their skull and then retracts it. It's just boom, goes boom, and then
Franklin, I like meat. Please change the subject. That's terrible. It's still going on.
Same gun from No Country for Old Men, right?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So they stop and pick up a creepy hitchhiker who loves knives. I think it's Franklin who comments and says,
Well, I think we just picked up Dracula.
which I loved. I think that's my favorite line in the movie.
That hitchhiker was a piece of work. He was awesome.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
He was typecast very well.
Was that a birthmark on his face or a burn mark on his face?
Maybe he got burned so fast it burnt him permanently. Wait, is that where birthmarks come from? Are they skid marks from birth?
Yeah, it's when your body part rubs against your mom's butthole.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
Come out smoking.
Push harder, not that fast. Slow down.
I'm looking at Edwin Neal's IMDb. He played the hitchhiker. Chainsaw was his first movie, and then he's been in a lot.
Oh, nice.
Like afterwards. A lot of TV, but he continued acting, which good for him.
Great
I mean,
job.
he's in a bunch, that's in pre-production and things like that. So still going strong.
Oh, I found his crazy very convincing. He was wild-eyed.
It's great.
Yeah. So they pick up the hitchhiker. The hitchhiker says that he used to be the killer of the cows at the slaughterhouse. And he tells the hippies about head cheese, which to me sounds absolutely terrible.
I heard of an Icelandic dish that was made by boiling the head of a lamb, and even Icelanders will tell you that it smells and tastes like death. It's just death. So I kind of want to try it. I've never had it.
It's like gelatin, right? Like it's like all the extra parts in the head that you don't normally use. It's like they put like gelatin in it, or it's kind of like a gooey nastiness.
I mean, would you eat it?
No.
I don't think so.
No, I would try it. You want to just try it? A little scoop?
Well, maybe I'll try a little taste.
Yeah.
The original title was Head Cheese of the movie.
Wait, really?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
I kind of like that better, honestly.
Yeah. And then the script title was Leatherface, but they were flirting with head cheese, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have gotten as popular as head cheese.
No, I agree. I agree.
But man, that would have been really grimy.
What was that movie we saw at Expos? Was it just called like Head or something?
What?
Wait, I can't tell if that's a real story or a joke because
no.
It sounds true.
Yeah. No, they showed like a porno once. And Greg, weren't you looking for it? You couldn't find it.
It was the trailer.
Oh,
it was just a trailer. Yeah, it was a trailer. It was a trailer for one called Cheese. Yeah, and he played a photographer who I think also loved cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't find it. It is not a real movie, I think.
I do want to see that though.
Yeah, listeners, if you have a 70s porno called Cheese, I'm looking for.
We're all very interested. For years now.
Yeah, it's been like 10 years I've been looking for this movie and I can't find it.
Head we could probably find.
Probably.
That's probably available on like 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
it's probably not going to be a tough one to find.
No, that one we could get. It's the cheese. It's tough.
Oh man. All right. So the hitchhiker ends up cutting his own hand open with Franklin's pocket knife. After he takes a photo of Franklin and the hippies refuse to pay him for it. He wanted $2 for a photo that nobody asked him to take.
The way of the hustle. He knows what he's doing.
Yep. He lights the picture on fire in the van and then ends up cutting Franklin's arm with a knife. They kick the hitchhiker out and he ends up spreading blood all on the side of the van.
Oh, my. Oh, I'm about half ready to call a cop.
That's the last goddamn hitchhiker I ever...
I love when he sets the photo on fire. He does it by like disassembling a shotgun shell, and he lights the gunpowder from the shell in like a little piece of foil. And then while it's still on fire, he wraps the foil up into a ball and stuffs it into his pocket.
Awesome!
Such a baller move. Yeah,
so cool.
It's like Rasputin. Your hitchhiker was Rasputin. I would be thrilled. I would give him the $2 after that. Honestly, thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's like a magic trick. He also had a little fox purse, like a dead fox.
Oh my god, yeah.
Loved it.
It reminded me of, wasn't there a little animal purse in Taxidermia that the guy had? It reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Weird.
I think he had like a little coin purse with like a squirrel head on it or something like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Man, I just need a taxidermied wallet. I guess that's what a leather wallet is. Never mind. I need a leather wallet. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll take it back.
Yeah, but you need one that has like a little animal face on it, little feet.
Yeah, you need face and feet make it.
Yeah.
Did you ever see those bad taxidermy sites? Taxidermy sites? Yeah.
Where you feel bad for the animal because of how it's been immortalized?
Yeah, they're pretty funny though.
They're great. You know what? That's how I want to go, guys. Remember, I do want to appear stuffed and fully nude at my own funeral, but actually, if you could pose me doing something like I don't know, filing IRS papers or something like that, something really mundane and crude, so like my eyes are still kind of rolling into my head and I still have my whatever my death mask is. It's probably me screaming in terror, but just doing taxes. That would be awesome.
What if we made you in a big piece of luggage and like we had to carry you on planes and that's just Daniel.
The combination to open me up would be like pushing in a certain number of teeth, and then I come unlatched.
You're just literally folded in half. Like,
your wiener's the latch. You have to grab it to unhook it.
That's the carrying handle. It's so small though, so it really does work your hand a lot. Yeah,
oh, yeah. This is just a little handbag.
Yeah, I bet my rib cage is probably big enough to be able to fit like 2 good sized winter boots in there. That'd be pretty good. That'd be good. Nice. Yeah, I'd be a weekend bag. Yeah, I'd be a weekend bag. Yeah,
I like it.
Me too.
I want to be like a beach bag. You put all your stuff in and like just rough up my skin.
Oh, Greg got sandy again.
Oh, he burns so easy still.
Oh, sorry, I gotta lotion up my Greg. It's gonna blister.
My Greg bag.
I got sunburned again.
What kind of bag do you want to be, Eric? Because we're doing this.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about it. I think like something you carry your like
cooler.
Cooler. There you go. Yeah, I was gonna say something you carry your wine in, but beer's even better.
Wine's classy.
Like you put ice in the bottom of me, you put little wheels on me, and roll me around.
What if we lay you flat, cut open your belly, make that into like insulate that, and then just put wheels on the bottom and like a leash around your neck, and we just drag you around like that, like a skateboard.
so his legs and arms are just dragging on the pavement behind him. Yeah.
It'd be funny if they were just sticking out at like 90-degree angles. Like I just was really annoying, like bumping in the corners. And trying to get me around. Like, oh god, these freaking arms are out again.
I'm in. I want my Eric cooler to have like pipe cleaner limbs. I want to be able to bend your arms and legs into different shapes.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah,
like if you could make like a drink holder out of my arm and put my palm up and put an ashtray on it.
Yeah, I could curl one arm around a bottle of whiskey and the other arm around like a 2-liter Coca-Cola, and then people that want a whiskey and Coke can just go for a hug. There you go. Bing, bang, bong.
Gumby arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? For the handle, we could just have you in like a shocked expression, and to pull you around, they just have to reach their hand up and grab you by the upper row of teeth and then pull on your head that way.
Yeah.
You could use my eye sockets to open the beers.
He's so versatile. Man, all I can think of was boots for myself. Bag. Yeah, you are clearly
carries boots.
Yeah, you're the Boy Scout of bags here. Oh, you were an Eagle Scout actually, so I stand corrected. Yeah good job.
There you go. Swiss Army man of coolers.
Yeah, huh?
Dead body coolers.
Swiss Army Man was a great movie, by the way.
It was great.
It was a good movie. It's a good fart movie.
That's like a yearly watch for me. I adore that movie. It's great.
Maybe we should cover that one time. Or maybe not. We'll see. All right, so now our group stops for gas, but the gas station is out of gas. They get directions to the old Franklin house. Wait, is that what it was? The old Franklin house?
Yeah.
It's Franklin's
family's old house.
Okay, so Franklin's just named after his old family name.
His name's Franklin.
Franklin.
Franklin, you get over here, boy.
Franklin. His middle name's Frankfurter.
Frankfurter Franklin. The old man at the gas station warns them to not mess around other people's places and property.
So now look, you boys don't want to go mess around no old house. Those things is dangerous. You're liable to get hurt.
But they do. They just end up grabbing some barbecue and heading down the road without getting any gas.
Would you get barbecue after listening to a local talking about how they slaughter pigs? I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it. You think so?
Oh, barbecue's so good. Ooh.
Depends on how it smelled and looked and how hungry I was.
Oh, I learned a fun fact about this movie. Speaking of slaughtering pigs, did you know that Guillermo del Toro became a vegetarian after seeing this movie?
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty righteous. It's probably. I feel like an undercurrent of this movie is that like people are actually this is the same thing as taxidermia. People are meat, and meat is people, and like that intro in the van when the guy was talking about like, oh yeah, we used to sledgehammer animals, but now they do it with this gun thing that's supposedly more humane, but it's taking away jobs. Like he was opposed to humane killing of animals, if you can call it that. Because it was removing jobs from the sledgehammer fellas. And, the rest of the movie kind of plays out into his pretty nasty, twisted fantasy. It does feel like an overtly anti-meat eating film. The more I watch it, the more it seems
lots of meat. It just stinks. The movie smells. It's definitely got a stink on it.
Oh yeah. And even later, when we start seeing skeletons and bones and stuff like that, they mix human and animal remains in together. Like there's a lot of
Oh yeah.
Like there's femurs and chicken feathers. Yeah.
Horns going through skulls, open mouths.
The Gunnar Hansen was saying that people stopped hanging around with him because he was wearing the same clothes for like 4 or 5 days while filming, and he just smelled. And he was like, the set smelled, everything smelled. But that barbecue place it's in Bastrop, Texas. It's called We Slaughter Barbecue. It's a bed and barbecue. You can stay there overnight.
Nice.
And there's some cabins and a gift shop. So I don't know if it's still in business. We'd have to Google it, but yeah.
It is still in business.
Is it? Yeah.
I actually just read that they were getting like a cease and desist from whoever owns the Texas Chainsaw Massacre rights.
No shit. Yeah.
Because they're selling unauthorized merchandise.
Good for them. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got away with it for however long they were.
Yeah, it just happened. Yeah. So
good.
They were doing it for like 40 some years. So good.
That's shitty to tell them to stop, but yeah, I hope they got some money on it.
All right, so our hippies now make it to Sally and Franklin's family home. Franklin stares at the blood on the van and wonders if the hitchhiker might have followed them.
Uh-oh.
And also, he can't find his knife.
Hey guys, did that blood mark on the van mean anything to you?
It just looked like blood to me.
I saw him like rubbing his hand on it and kicking the van as it was going away. Do you think it looked like something? Like a symbol?
No, it didn't look like it looked intentional, whatever it was, but I have never been able to read, like, what is this supposed to mean? And I'm only curious because he does call back to there being a mark on the van like 4 times. So it feels like it's you know what? Again, another undercurrent of this movie, like the opening when they show the grave robbery with the corpses stacked up on top of a tomb or whatever, and it's all really freaky. It's like if there was a thesis statement for this movie, it would be like daring you to find meaning behind violence. Like, violent shit happens, try to find meaning in it. And every turn of this movie is like, here's some crazy shit that is so weird and otherworldly that your brain wants to find meaning for it and it can't. Like, there's so many gaps and it just cannot fill in the gaps. And maybe that's what the mark on the van is. It's just a weird ethereal thing that happens that, like the astral sign that one of the girls is reading about in the van, like, we're supposed to try to read tea leaves and figure out what it's supposed to mean, but I don't know. Maybe it doesn't mean anything. That's my tirade on Texas Chainsaw Massacre and meaning. There's enough gaps that you're supposed to be able to find meaning, but I feel like they made it in a way that you just can't, which is really interesting and really frustrating.
I thought you were going to say the blood looked like a butthole.
Yeah, it does kind of, though. It is like a number 3 with a little line through it, which I guess you could say is like, no, none in the butt, please. No, thank you. These cheeks are off limits.
Is the butthole number 3?
What number is it for you, Greg?
I just didn't know what that meant. I guess a 3 looks like a button if you put a line through it. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were like ranking holes. Like which?
No, I'm not that kind of person.
Yet.
Yeah. All right.
As long as it's freezing cold, Greg is fine.
Wait. You know what? That's fine.
I got to stay here one summer when I was 8 years old, right after my grandmother died.
What happened?
What happened to my grandmother?
Yes, she died.
All right, so now the rest of the group goes into the house to look around while Franklin just rolls around by himself outside, and he's upset that everyone's having fun without him because he can't get upstairs. We see that the house is run down and falling apart.
While Franklin is outside and really struggling to get in with his wheelchair, he kind of like becomes unhinged and snaps and is just like screaming and shouting, and he blows raspberries a lot, which I don't know. Did people used to blow more raspberries in the 70s? It seems like a weird choice, but maybe it's like the nastiest thing to do, like just spray spit everywhere. But it's something that we see one of the crazy people do later. And in this scene, on this rewatch, I kind of noticed, one, Franklin gives a good physical performance wrestling with that wheelchair. But two, he actually kind of seems pretty capable of violence himself a few times in this movie. So it's interesting to see that like this guy in a put up situation where he's not being taken care of starts behaving a little unhinged at times. And then, I don't know, it doesn't take a lot of work to then track that out to what must have happened to this crazy family we're about to meet.
Well, you've got a lot of similarities between Franklin and the cannibal family. Grandpa's in a wheelchair.
Yep.
The hitchhiker loves knives. Franklin was kind of very interested in the like ways of killing animals,
methods of slaughter.
He kind of really focused on that. So it's kind of like maybe it's his family's from around there, and his grandpa or uncle something worked at the slaughterhouse. So maybe it's kind of a nature versus nurture kind of thing, that he was raised a certain way, so he didn't go that kind of cannibal murderer way. Like he was taken out of it. But if he remained in that area, maybe he would have, joined up with Leatherface and the hitchhiker and such.
Or maybe we're all capable of being a Leatherface given enough bad times. Like a lack of a support structure and neighbors and community and access to chainsaws and helpless animals. Eventually we all turn into Leatherface or something.
He was also eating like a pocket sausage the whole time.
Yeah, he had that pig's ear in his mouth. Yeah.
He was just like sucking on it and he drooling and spitting. He kept spitting. Yeah, he was great. My favorite part of that scene was he does the Franklin spitting raspberry like fart noises, and he's totally frustrated and he wheels into a wall. And then he screams like getting more frustrated that he wheeled into the wall. He's like, ah! And then he just starts, as he's wheeling away, he's just going like making like fart noises as he goes in the other room. It was fantastic.
I mean, I don't know what he was expecting. He went to a house that he knows is not wheelchair accessible, and he knew it was like pretty overgrown and broken down when they were on their way there. So I'm not sure what he was expecting. I guess he wanted more like female attention or something.
Yeah, well, everybody was upstairs, like giggling, like pairing off, and like having a good time.
Yeah,
he was left alone and just got his arm cut open by a crazy person. So
that'll make you cry too.
Yeah, he's probably like, "What the fuck?"
Man, well, speaking of fun, Pam and Kirk decide they're going to go swimming in the old swimming hole. As they leave, Franklin finds a weird pile of bones and feathers, and he calls out for Sally. As Kirk and Pam are on their way, they find a nearby house, and Kirk decides that they should just go and check if they can buy some gas from that house, because there's a generator running. They find a hidden area full of abandoned cars.
That's when you run. That's when you run. Run away. Turn around and run.
No one should have that many abandoned cars.
Just run away from them. Go away. Run away. Bye.
Yeah, so after they come across the running generator, they go up to the house and knock on the door. On the porch, Kirk finds a human tooth, which he shows to Pam, who gets grossed out, and she runs away.
Rightfully so. Run away. Oh, and now I found an abandoned sea of cars and a human tooth. Run away. Go. Bye.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Yeah.
Well, just the generator was like scary for some reason.
Yeah. Just run away. They had the Evil Dead swinging chair in their front yard. No. See ya. Bye. I'm gone. I run away from everything. If you have a swinging chair on your porch, I'm gonna run. See ya.
I'm out of here.
That shit's ominous. I need my chairs need to have feet that touch the ground. I don't like that.
At all times.
Yeah. What, are you choking that chair? Why is it hanging from chains? Nuh-uh. Not for me.
So Kirk knocks again at the door, and the door opens.
Hello!
He goes in, only to be quickly caught and brutally killed by Leatherface.
Kirk?
Killed with a hammer just the same way that the hitchhiker described killing cattle.
Yeah. He dropped after one hit, but was still functioning.
Yeah, he was like going through
as,
spasms.
Like, yeah. Oh, it's unnerving.
Yeah, it's like a
it's
piece of his skull like went into his brain, and he's like twitching.
And this is a bloodless scene, and it's absolutely brutal. Like, it's the fact that there's no blood, I think actually makes it seem more like documentary wise.
Yeah,
you know,
yes.
like it really felt crazy.
Yeah, that was something those guys were talking about. That everybody like envisions that this is a super bloody movie, and Tobe Hooper was like, I actually tried to get a PG rating.
Yeah,
he was like, but it required no blood. He's like, there's really no special effects in the movie at all, and we used probably about like 2 ounces of blood in the whole movie. He's like, it's pretty low on blood, but people recall in their minds it being like completely nasty and gore filled, but it's not really.
Yeah,
you know?
I think the only blood is when the hitchhiker cuts his hand and he cuts Franklin's arm.
and there's a finger slice later.
Yeah, there's a finger slice.
And
then there's a little bit in when Franklin gets attacked, but there's not a lot, and there's some dried stuff on the wall, but. And at the end, there's a little bit on the final girl, but even so, it's not like Evil Dead where it's just like they used, you know,
oceans of blood.
record amount of blood. I think people are like project on it a lot, you know.
Yeah,
that is weird. And they swung for a PG and landed on an X. That's crazy. I mean, I guess that goes to show that like explicitly what happens on screen, as in like the content of individual shots. Isn't all that shocking without really, really good editing. And I think that's where this movie's edited so freaking well. That's the thing that always carries me away in this. Especially this opening scene when the guy's like wriggling on the ground after he gets clobbered by the hammer. It's like for the first time we get all these like really quick shots of his like boots hitting the ground and his arm wriggling. And it's so jarring. It's so unsettling.
Yeah.
They're talking about, not to go too much behind the scenes, but they're talking about the editing, how they would cut action like just before or just after you'd normally expect the action to play out. So it was almost like they interrupted it before it got a chance to finish. So and because of that, it made it really unnerving and jarring. Like you didn't know what to expect.
Nice.
Like for instance, if someone took a breath, and instead of like watching them take a breath and exhale, they'd cut it like in the middle of them breathing in, just to make it more disturbing. Instead of watching like the full motion. I thought that concept was really cool.
That's awesome. I mean, it plays out that way on screen. It is really unsettling, even though there is like I think this movie is more unnerving than like Hostel.
Mm-hmm.
And the coolest shot of the movie, in my opinion, Pam walks up from like the hanging seat in the front yard and goes into the house to check on Kirk. And as she enters the house, she finds a room full of human bones and feathers, including a bone couch and a bone chandelier, a hand lamp, and other assorted human decorations. Now, the coolest shot was, for me, is when the camera it's low to the ground and it's following her into the house. Like it goes underneath the swing, and it's just such a cool shot. And done incredibly well.
Yeah, I love that. It's like
to
a
an
wide
awesome
angle.
payoff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like whoops, goes under the bench swing, and then the house is just growing in size because it's a wide angle lens, so it's just getting more and more insane as the closer they get. It's great. I love that shot.
I love all that bone furniture. I want a chair made out of Grandpa's bones. That's awesome. Little Grandpa bone chair.
Give me that bone chair.
Yeah. He always was a lazy boy. Wink, wink, wink.
They were saying the some of the bones they got on set was from a pile of dead animals from a veterinarian hospital.
Oh, wow.
Aww.
And they just gave him the bones.
Nice.
He used it, which is pretty nasty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm going to call my local vet. 1 second.
Hi, excuse me. Can I get some bones, please?
I need a chair made out of, I don't know, golden retriever.
Very specific.
So Pam's in the house. Leatherface catches her as she tries to run, and he takes her into the back, where he sticks her onto a meat hook. She screams in pain as Leatherface starts cutting up Kirk's body with a chainsaw.
I think that meat hook hang sequence is the perfect example of don't show us the violence. Like, let us deal with the repercussions of it. Because seeing her, like, breathless in pain was more effective than seeing a hook go through, like, a fake back or something. Ugh, so nasty. So nasty.
It's great.
But yeah, now we're back with Jerry, Sally, and Franklin. They're teasing Franklin about how the hitchhiker is going to come back and get him, which I think is really funny.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, he's going to kill you, Franklin."
Well, he couldn't find us anyway. I mean, he doesn't even know our names.
I gave him your name, Franklin. I told him where you live. I even gave him your zip code. He's gonna kill you.
Jerry.
Franklin and Sally are trying to find Franklin's knife, while Jerry decides to go down to the creek to look for Kirk and Pam. At the van, Franklin is talking Sally's ear off and just being pretty annoying to her.
Yeah, I think that's an exchange that I really like, because he's in the first sequence where we meet these kids, Pam or Sally, I think it was Pam, was talking about, like, she was reading like an astral guide that was saying, like, there's going to be violence because Saturn is in retrograde and all this stuff. And he asks her here, like, oh, what did you think about what she was reading? Like, do you believe in the astronomy guides? And she was like, well, I guess everything means something. But then, like, having obviously seen this movie a bunch of times, like, it ends with a pirouetting serial killer and has no, like, real resolution at all. So I think that's what I like most about this movie, is not only is it really effectively made, but it defies meaning. It doesn't mean anything, and that's where it finds its meaning, and I love that.
You're so smart.
No, I'm going to cut all that out. Don't worry about
it. The one thing I was going to mention, Dan, because you mentioned, like, the astronomy stuff or the astrological stuff or whatever, the opening credits are over, like, sunspots, like the sun, like, spewing sunspots out. It's all red, though. It's, like, solarized. And the sun is, like, constantly used as transitions in the movie.
Yeah.
It also is, like, I think it's brutally freaking hot. And, like, the actors are always sweating and, like look uncomfortable. And then later they focus on the moon, and it's, like, center framed. And at the end, there's a sun rise or sunset, right? Or no, I guess sunrise. Anyway, it's like a constant theme in the movie. And yeah, I don't think it plays directly into her conversation, but I just thought it was a cool, like, element that they use for transitions, and just kind of set the mood.
This movie does feel stifling hot.
Oh yeah.
It makes you sweat watching it.
Stinky and hot.
All right, well, speaking of stinky and hot, Kirk ultimately ends up in the murder... I'm sorry, it's Jerry. Jerry ultimately ends up in the murder house. He hears rattling coming from a chest freezer, and he opens it up and finds Pam inside. She is looking worse for the wear. Leatherface then comes in and smashes Jerry's head with a sledgehammer. And this was an interesting part, because to me, Leatherface, he kind of reacts in a very odd way. He seems both giddy and very concerned about what's happening. Did you guys get that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got the same thing.
Yeah, I think it was because the kids were coming out of nowhere. Like, they just kept pouring into the house. So he was like, where are the fucking kids coming from? And he was like completely disturbed. Like, where are they going to keep pouring in? Where, I think he was just confused because his house was being invaded with strangers,
I wrote down that he was acting as though, like, these kids stumbled onto, like Leatherface was trying to make, like, a YouTube cooking channel, and these kids kept stumbling into his like kitchen set, and he was like, no, I haven't released it yet. I haven't announced. So he's just offing these kids while he's trying to get his shit tidy. It did seem like he was, like, arriving too early to the party, and Leatherface was embarrassed or something.
How dare you?
That's not ready!
All right, so now it's nighttime. Sally wants to go looking for everyone else, but Franklin is hesitant for either of them to go do that.
Sally, they took the keys. We don't have any keys. They took the keys.
Franklin realizes that one of the missing people has taken the van keys, so they can't get anywhere.
No, Sally, we can't go. Look, what if they came back and we weren't here?
So they end up both heading off together to search. As they approach the house, Leatherface sneaks up on them with his chainsaw and just straight up destroys Franklin.
Sally, I hear something. Stop. Stop.
Poor Franklin.
Oh, man, he shoved that chainsaw inside Franklin so many times. Oof.
Man, a list of things that are not ADA compliant. One, visiting an old house that's practically burned down in the middle of nowhere. That's not going to be compliant. Two, searching through your friends in the woods in the middle of the night in a wheelchair. It's not going to quite work. Not ADA compliant. Three, surviving a chainsaw being thrown into your torso. I'm sorry. Although, I mean, props to the chainsaw. I feel like wheelchairs are pretty solid devices, right? It's a lot of metal. So, good job, chainsaw.
I think
Like, be like a Craftsman commercial. Like, this will cut through Franklin.
And it started like on the first pull. You know, that's pretty difficult.
I mean, Franklin's not made of a wheelchair. Like,
no, I'm saying, but he cuts through him though.
That's true. He does. Yeah.
That chair is not in one piece when he's done.
Yeah. Yeah. So Franklin's dead. I'm fine with that.
Sorry, buddy.
And Sally just kind of watches on in horror. So Sally runs off with Leatherface in hot pursuit. He's a big boy, but he runs pretty well. She eventually runs into a house for safety, but turns out it's the murder house. Where upstairs she finds a really old man and a decomposed old lady. Sounds pretty good. Sounds like a nice Saturday night.
I love that this is like a looking back, oh my god moment where you first see the grandpa character and the dead woman, and you assume they're both corpses, but then later on, grandpa turns out to still be alive, so they just have him up there with his, his dead wife all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo!
He's supposed to be he's supposed to be like 108 years old. Just sitting up there, hanging with his wife and taxidermied animals rotting.
Ah, what a life. What a life. What if he has a radio or if he just talks to those bones?
I don't think he does anything. He just sits there and just
stares.
Grunts. Yeah.
Catches flies in his mouth.
So he's 108 and that's what he gets to do. I'm 38. Why can't I just do that? Just sit up.
I'm done.
Sit up in an attic with a corpse and just
a bone wife
for a while.
Yeah.
That sounds like heaven.
For a while.
Huh. One day.
We can all dream.
All right, yeah, so Leatherface almost catches Sally, but she jumps out a window and runs off again. She does a lot of window jumping and running in this movie, yeah.
They were talking about how they got a stunt woman to jump out of the window for her, but then they got the real actress. What's her name? Marilyn
Burns, right?
Yeah, they got the real actress to go up on the roof and then jump off the roof because they wanted to show her like actually landing.
Huh.
So,
oh wow.
So that was her doing that jump, and like later on she bloodies her knees up and she rips her pants open at the knees, and that's real blood from her knees. She gets really beat up in this movie. Like, she did a lot of her own crap. And I think like a good sport about it.
Later in the movie, they cut her finger open, and that was like a real cut, right? They actually cut her finger, or a finger for that?
Yeah, there's a whole story about that, the lead up to that. That's really interesting.
We'll get there. It's coming up.
We can save it. Old finger cuts coming up.
All right, so Sally runs off. She eventually makes it to the gas station from earlier, the barbecue/gas station.
Oh, so she's safe. Yeah, she's safe.
So she tells the old man there about what's going on and how somebody's trying to kill her and has killed all her friends. He says that he'll drive her to go get help, so he pulls up his truck for her to get in. But it turns out that the old man is part of the problem.
What are you doing?
You got no need to worry.
No!
Now, you just cooperate, young lady, and we'll have no trouble. Now,
what do you want?
Now, there's no need to do that. Nobody's gonna hurt you.
No!
he ends up beating her with a broom and then knocks her out with the broom handle, and he ties her up and tosses her into the truck.
Oh, that what I love most about that scene is when they're in like a kitchen area, I guess where they make the barbecue or whatever, and then when she's running from him, she like pushes open a swinging door and there's just a toilet in there, like the bathroom is right off the kitchen, and it was nasty. It was nasty. It was great. I just like the idea of somebody pooping in the middle of making like my beef short ribs.
I don't know.
Love that. It's good to think about. This movie's nasty.
I think every kitchen should just have a toilet in the kitchen. Yeah, not in like another room, just like in the corner of the kitchen.
It has to be in a corner. If that's where you put it. If you could put a toilet anywhere in the kitchen.
I mean, I guess you could always just consider a sink a toilet.
I mean, they do at the football games.
Need a good garbage disposal.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Huh. No, I would put it in the corner. You can't put a toilet in the middle.
Why not? I would want my toilet like facing the sink. You know, doing your dishes, you do your business. All in one go.
You'd have to have a low counter.
No, you just have a raised toilet. You have a tall toilet.
You have a bar stool toilet?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, tall boy.
Every time you pinch one off, you're like, Geronimo. You're like,
huh. I've never thought about a tall toilet.
Yeah, you gotta. It's like a little throne. You gotta step up onto it.
Does it have like a footrest?
Maybe and it would have a pull string flush too, coming down from the ceiling. You pull on a little cord.
See, I don't think it should flush. I think it should be like
oh no flushing like toilets. Yeah, okay.
A porta potty type toilet that you have to go dump into your backyard. So maybe a tall toilet would be good because it could hold more, and you could keep the stink in your kitchen longer.
Oh, that's perfect. My neighbors will love me.
I did like the shot of her looking at the barbecue meats while she was waiting for him to get the truck.
Nasty.
I couldn't tell. Was any of that human meat?
There was like a jawbone that looked suspect.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, it was cool. It was all red and
it looked great and it looked delicious.
But it was shot in that same like kind of shivering, narrow focus close-up shot that they used to shoot like the bones in the nasty house. Like it was the same kind of shot. So whether or not it was actually human meat, it was definitely shot to imply a kinship.
Yeah, it was equating the two.
Human remains. Yeah.
All right, so on the way back to the murder house, the old man comes across the hitchhiker. He berates the hitchhiker for almost getting caught digging up graves. He told him to stay away from that cemetery.
Stevie, they don't know nothing. I told you to stay away from that graveyard.
At the house, the hitchhiker ties Sally to a chair. All of them, including Sally, Leatherface, and the hitchhiker, the old man, and Grandpa, all gather around. They slice Sally's finger and let Grandpa get a taste. And Grandpa seems happy to be sucking that girl's blood.
Oh, that's the finger slice. That's the real ass finger slice.
Yeah, so there's a really cool story on the commentary. So the grandpa was an 18-year-old
It's so
dude,
weird.
And it took him like 10 hours to put his makeup on or something insane like that, right? And once he was in his makeup, he was like, I'm never doing this again. Whatever you need shot, shoot it today. This is it. So they were like, shit, what are we going to do? So they worked for 27 hours straight because that actor refused to get back into makeup again after all the torture he went through. So they shot it in sequence. And when they got to the dinner table scene, they were all like sweating their asses off. It was like 110 degrees out. They'd been shooting forever. They were like all losing their minds. And they had a rig for the blood to shoot out. When he cut her finger, it was like like a tube that kept getting clogged. And Gunnar was getting frustrated and took the tape off of the knife because the knife had like safety tape on it, I guess, when he cut her.
Yeah.
And took the tape off and cut her finger for real without asking permission or telling.
Whoa! Seriously?
And then she started like wigging out and, crying and stuff. It was all real.
Oh my God.
He cut her finger for real.
That's so fucked.
Which is not cool. But he was like, he didn't like apologize for it on the commentary or anything. He was just like, we were shooting for 20 hours straight. We were all losing our minds. And he was like, the vibe in that room was nuts. And he was like, we just wanted it to end. We wanted the film to end. So I just did what I had to do.
So he cut one of his... Did he actually suck real blood then?
Oh, that I don't know. I that's a good question. I don't know, dude. Maybe.
Yay! That's so grody. Poor woman. Marilyn Burns. Yikes.
Seriously. But he was like, yeah, those screams were real screams. So I was like, wow, that's pretty gnarly.
Oof.
Jeez. All right, well, on that note,
what a feel-good movie.
Old men sucking blood. Now it's dinner time. So...
Dude, sorry, just to build on what Eric was just saying about the screaming is delirium. Like, halfway through this sequence, I'm screaming. It is maddening. Yeah. The way the final product came together, it's crazy making. Sorry,
there's all these close-ups of her eye, switching back and forth, and you can see all the red veins in it and stuff. It's frenetic. It's kind of awesome.
And she sat. You the viewer are because they show a POV from her perspective a whole bunch. You are sat at that table with them for so long, and nothing happens. It's just her waiting for the shoe to drop, and it just doesn't drop for so long. Ugh, It's mad making. Yeah.
And there's a chicken head table, on top of the table, a little mini table.
Yeah.
And it has chicken feet for legs.
Oh, don't forget about the glowing shrunken head chandelier that they keep incorporating in the shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a pack of hounds. We were just having fun. You think this is a party?
Please. You can make him stop. No, he can't.
Shut your mouth.
Did you notice that Leatherface changes his outfits depending on what he's doing?
Yeah. Well, he's got like a date night mask on too. He changed his mask
and his wig.
Yeah. Yeah, when he was cooking, he had an old lady's gray wig on, and he had an apron, he was domesticated. He was making dinner. He was in he had a big spoon. He was in dinner mode. And then when he went to eat, he was all sort of dressed up and and he was more sophisticated. He's like, okay, this is my dinner outfit.
yeah. I call it because the mask he wears at dinner, it's got makeup on. It looks like a beautiful lady.
He's assumed he's the mother of the family at that point.
But yeah, so they're at dinner. Sally awakens and is tied to a chair that has hands on it. It's a literal armchair. And she screams. The whole cannibal family howls along with her, which I found to be another hilarious scene in this movie. I think just because I have mental problems. Sally begs for her life, but they basically just tease her. They just make fun of her at this point. So yeah, we learn that the old man is the cook, but he doesn't do any killings himself. He leaves that to the hitchhiker and Leatherface and Grandpa. But now it's time for Sally to die, and they want Grandpa to do it. He used to be the #1 killer at the slaughterhouse.
They said he killed 60 cows in 5 minutes, which I was legitimately impressed by. I don't know how you do that, but there you go.
Yeah.
Go ahead, get her.
Well, the old man says he could have done 100 if they were able to move the cows faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My back gets sore even thinking about it. I would have to line up 60 cows with a tank. Maybe I could get 60 of them in 5 minutes.
Or if it was whack-a-mole. Their heads were just popping out of little holes, and you could just go punk, 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 punk.
Somebody make that browser game. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Whack-A-Mole.
Yeah, you play Grandpa. That's a great game.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
And the older you get, the less reliable your hammer physics are. So you get little shaky or whatever, you start missing.
You know what? That could actually, we could just make that into a physical game that you could play at our horror movie gym that we incorporated a couple episodes ago. Because that's a workout.
Yeah,
that would be a workout.
Killing cows. That takes a lot out of you.
Seems like real labor to me.
You could have like squibs on the cow's head, so when you hit them, blood shoots everywhere.
No, these are straight up just real cows.
Oh, they're real cows.
Yeah, they're going to go to the Stabby Stabby gym cafeteria afterwards.
Are they already like decapitated?
Chili or something.
Are they already decapitated and on like a mechanism?
They're just real, I think.
Oh, they're just like sitting in there?
Just full cows.
This is a game cabinet that is large enough to accommodate, I don't know, a cluster of cows.
Yeah.
There's 10 or 15 living cows. They got to keep cycling them out.
You have to go to the barn behind the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To avoid copyright infringement, we have to call it something off-brand. It can't be Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the game. It would be called, like, Cowhalla. Send these cows to the afterlife.
Cowhalla.
Get some milk out of them, too. You can just drink some milk afterwards.
The milk is all pink, because it's a messy game.
Can you milk a dead cow?
God,
like, right after
it
dies? Are they still full of milk, or do they, like, spill everything like humans do after they die?
Greg asking the real questions.
Shit, I need to know.
I don't know.
If I'm gonna murder a cow, I'm gonna need a little drink afterwards.
God, I think I'm vegetarian now. I think I just crossed the threshold just now.
Weird. I think I became like an Uber meat eater. Eric, you in? You want to milk with us?
Yeah, I went to a dairy farm on a class trip.
Did you milk one?
I was a chaperone, and the farmer was like telling all the facts about the cows, and he was like, if you look at them udders, the ones with the really big blue deep veins on the udders, they're the best milk producers. And
you were like, I already knew that.
I was the only dude chaperone, and one of the moms next to me turns to me and goes, "Well, you're getting quite the education today, aren't you?" It's pretty funny. Yeah.
All right, so we're almost towards the end here. So, Grandpa's trying to kill Sally, but he's having trouble holding the hammer. He drops it into the bucket several times. As the whole cannibal family's trying to like get Grandpa to hold the hammer and like focusing on him, Sally's able to break free, and again she runs and jumps out another window. This time she's pretty badly hurt, but she runs off into the street again with Leatherface and the hitchhiker in pursuit.
Yeah.
The hitchhiker chases her into the road, and he almost gets her, but he gets smashed by an oncoming truck.
Oh, it was like a meat truck. It was a truck that you would transport cows or whatever on.
Oh.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Thematically on point. He gets pulverized by it.
So the driver stops and pulls Sally into his truck, but they get attacked by Leatherface with the chainsaw, so they both get out the other side and run. I like that the driver throws a wrench at Leatherface and hits him, knocking him down. And Leatherface, as he falls, he cuts his own leg with his chainsaw.
Yeah, it's nasty.
So now a pickup truck stops to help. Sally gets into the back, and the truck drives off. Leatherface, he's a quick big boy, but he can't catch him. And as Sally screams and cries with fear and joy as she escapes, Leatherface is seen swinging his chainsaw in the road, pirouetting as the sun goes down, and we hit our credits.
Yeah.
Yeah!
What a great scene. Yeah, honestly, I haven't watched this movie in a couple years probably. I thought the truck driver died. I don't remember him escaping and running away.
Yeah.
But I could be thinking of another movie. So...
Yeah, I remember.
No, I'm pretty sure they didn't change it. Yeah.
No. I'm saying I think this happens in another movie where the truck driver dies, but I just can't think of what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I love his little frustrated chainsaw dance as the sun's setting. That's another one of those abrupt cuts. He's like, "Wah!" Like he's right in the middle of his dance, and it just cuts and goes to credits. It's great.
Yeah.
It's freaking
It's
cool.
perfect.
It's awesome.
That whole pirouetting dance thing at the end is beautiful. I think it's legitimately beautiful. It's awesome.
Yeah. They overuse a little too much in some of the sequels. Number 2, he's just dancing all over the place. He's the dancing fool.
At the very end, she escapes by luck. Like none of this makes sense. There's no lesson learned. It's not like she got out by her like cunning wit or skill or anything. No, she somehow managed to get away. And then somehow manages to hitch a second ride to be able to get away. Like, there was no rhyme or reason to anything. And then he dances, and then that weird cut to black. Oh, it's so good.
So crazy.
Yeah, I'm just left there sitting on my couch wondering what was that supposed to mean, and I fucking love that. It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
And she,
love that feeling.
She was like one of our original final girls too, right? Isn't she like credited as starting sort of the final, being one of the original final girls, besides like Laurie Strode, which
yeah.
Well,
this was 73. This is well before then, right?
Oh,
Wasn't
yeah.
Halloween like 78 or something like that?
This was 74.
74.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think those two together are like often clumped together as like the original final girls. Yeah, pretty cool.
Well, I mean, it sounds like we all have opinions. So what do you guys say we take a chainsaw to this movie and stab it a whole bunch in its wheelchair?
Let's get it.
Let's do it.
Time for the ratings.
So here on Stabby Stabby, we like to rate the films we watch by stabbing them. Stabbing is something that we do affectionately around here. So 1 stab means it's a terrible movie. It's not even a movie, it's a post-it note. 10 stabs means it is a work of genius art that you and all of your friends should watch at least annually, but maybe every day. I would say like There Will Be Blood. So that's a 10 out of 10 for me. Greg, how many times would you stab Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
This is a tough one because when this came out, I would say this is like a 9.5. This is pretty much a perfect movie, but I'm gonna rate it based on how I view it today. I'm gonna say 6.5 stabs. I want more blood. There's no nudity. What's going on with that? No, yeah. So this movie, it's revolutionary for what it is. It's fantastic, but listen, every Sellout October movie can't be 8, 9, 10. So gotta bring it down a little bit. But Tobe Hooper is a genius. The actors in this movie played their parts incredibly well. For this movie being made on a shoestring budget in the Texas heat, just stinking up the joint. It's a fantastic movie, but yeah, for today's standards, I'd say 6.5. But yeah, I mean, maybe I'll get flack for that, but it could go. I want it to be crazier, right?
You gotta follow your
I
heart,
love
baby.
crazy and insane stuff, and just like just dump buckets of blood on everything. So so yeah, 6.5 for me. Still a fantastic movie. Everybody should and probably has seen it. So how about you, Eric? How many stabs are you giving it?
Yeah, I'm going 10 stabs on this.
Go!
Yeah.
Nice.
It's just every time I watch it, I feel like I need a shower. I think the room starts smelling like dead chicken guts. Yeah, it's just gritty. It's hot, nasty. It just doesn't get old for me. It feels, I think, Greg, you mentioned this, it feels like a documentary at times, which is weird. I love to hate Franklin. I love Jim Siedow as the old man. He's so good. Like, I think he's a legit good actor. He's a standout for me. And then Marilyn Burns is a trooper as Sally. Like, Jesus, what they put her through. Yeah, I love that it's shot on 16 millimeter and blown up the film stock, and it's gritty, and it's not always lit perfectly. I think that goes with the documentary style. Like, it's often like overexposed and blown out, and I think that adds to the documentary like feel to it. It feels real to me. Yeah, like it actually happened. I don't know. I love it. I don't know what else to say about it. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw. It's freaking awesome. Dan, what do you think?
I'm going to go 9 out of 10. I'm right there with you, Eric. I totally get your rationale, Greg. I hear you, but I to me this movie, every time I watch it, it gets nastier somehow. And there's not a lot of movies. Usually, when I see a movie 3, 4, or 5 times, like I start seeing the gags, but there aren't gags to see in this movie. Like, it is what it is, and there are no effects to hide behind or anything like that. And there's just something about that that's so nasty and gritty and filthy and awful. And it makes me feel kind of gross and sick every time I watch it. And I love that. I love movies that make me feel bad. They're my favorite. I don't know. There's more going on in this movie's head than even I realized there was the last time I saw it. And if a movie can grow that way, Yeah, that's got a good spot on my shelf. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 9 out of 10 for me. Love this movie. Go watch it. Why'd you listen to us talk about it if you haven't seen this? You should go watch it right now. Go watch it. Yeah, so thank you so much for listening. If you know other people that would like a podcast like this, please pass this along to them. There's actually a surprising amount of people that listen. Thank you so much. We're really flattered by that, and it's all been by word of mouth. So if you don't mind keeping that up, we don't want to pay for advertising. So we appreciate you all. Thank you. So Greg, how can listeners learn what we're going to watch before we're going to talk about it?
They're going to need to come into my beef shack at Instagram and follow us at StabbyPod, StabbyPod, where every Wednesday we'll announce the next movie that we're going to watch, and the new episode will come out on Monday morning. So you'll have 5 slaughterhouse days stinking up the joint to find the movie and to watch the movie. Sellout October should be pretty easy for you. I think most of these you probably own. If you're listening to our show, you're probably a physical media junkie like we are. But most of them also are streaming, so you should be good. Yeah, so go ahead and watch it, and then come and follow us, and tell us what you want us to watch later in the year. Yeah, so November's rolling around. There's not really there's not going to be a theme for that. There's not really a theme until, I don't know, summer next year. So we got a lot of movies to fill.
We get to watch what you tell us to watch. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Tell us what stinky movies are out there that we can just smell the picture. And yeah, we'll pop it on the list as long as we can find it. The weirder, the better. We like to see stuff we haven't seen. So
yeah, we like movies that have us asking ourselves, how long after a cow's death can you still milk it? If you know movies that will put questions like that in our brains, we want to watch them. So thank you.
Yeah. So follow us on Instagram, StabbyPod, and rate us 5 stars. We could use them. We like them. They taste good.
Like cinnamon. And Eric, what do we like to say at the end of every single episode of Stabby Stabby?
Oh, we like to say, don't forget to get a little pocket sausage. Pop that in your mouth and get a Polaroid camera with your friends. Take a picture of them. And then if they don't want to give you $2 for the picture, burn that shit. Burn it in some tin foil with, just crumple it up. And then don't forget to stab them. So don't forget to stab your friends.